And that's why don't play tricks on your son.
Oh, that was harrowing.
That was my what was his name? Jay Peterman, or the guy from Arrested Development that always, I'm making Arrested Development references to start the show. Hey, it's John.
I'm Richard.
It's Bronze and Modern Gods. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Bronze and Modern Gods. And if you like this video, hit like, hit subscribe. Hey, have you become a member yet? Come on, grab your membership and join for the cost of just $2.99 a month. Less than a Starbucks, he says every week. You can show your support for the channel and get a few perks, including exclusive Friday night live member-only streams, which last Friday was pretty raucous, I guess.
We had fun.
You get extra show and tell episodes, shout outs, and future videos. In fact, look at all these names. Holy moly. What the heck? Wow. Let's vamp a little longer. Say something, Richard.
Thank you so much, everybody.
They're looking for their names. And, this helps Richard and I get new equipment, lighting, stuff like that to do some shows in the future. And all you got to do is just hit the join button on YouTube next to the subscribe button below. If you're on your phone, you're screwed. Forget it. You got to go to a laptop and do it through a browser. Thanks, YouTube. Thanks, Obama. Richard, you want to give a quick corner box plug?
Yeah, I'm selling corner boxes on cornerboxdd.com. Also custom mugs, tumblers. If you're looking for comic book related tumblers for a Christmas present, stop by, and I got your number. If you have anything that you'd like to see, please leave us a comment, leave me a note, and I'd be happy to look into it.
Channel members get an extra 10% off at cornerbox.com. Offer valid in contiguous United States only. Hey, hot book of the week. Richard, is this a rerun? Is this an old episode? Is this what's happening?
Did you like this book?
Why is Stray Dogs #1 in the hot book of the week?
I don't know.
I liked it. I did. I liked it. I read it. I thought it was original. I thought it was a neat twist on horror. It's hot again because of some movement in the optioned animated adaptation from Paramount. It was announced Gary Doberman. Oh, sorry, Doberman. It'd be funny if his name was Doberman. Who worked on Annabelle and It. He's now attached to the project. Okay, great. They got a name attached to it. Caveat emptor. Our usual disclaimers here. This is still in development. Nothing's been announced other than it's in development. It's been optioned. So buyer beware. High grade raws are selling on eBay now for about $20, while the 90-day GPA for a CGC 9.8 is $58. The last sale bumped it up to $76. Richard, this is nothing compared to what it was in 2021, is it?
No. 2021, the all-time high was $228. This is a book that is just known for its variant covers. All the different variant covers follow some horror movie theme, including a 1 in 25 acetate cover.
That takes me back. Acetate, Richard.
If only we could remember that fondly.
How'd your wife?
This I'm not sure about this book. When studios will make entire movies like Batgirl and then just shelve it for no reason other than the tax benefit. Until I actually see something on the screen in front of me, I'm just not confident.
This reminds me, I think it came out contemporaneously to 8 Billion Genies. It's just such a genius concept. Yep. I don't want to spoil it. If you haven't read Stray Dogs, it's worth, at least buying it digitally and reading it. It's fun and scary and unsettling and cute.
Wow. What a combination.
Exactly. I mean, how many times do you have something unique like this? So, this book had a roller coaster of value and it hit the bottom of the hill, and now it's starting to do that little thing like it's Cedar Point. Tick, 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 tick.
Cedar Point, you're placing yourself.
I don't think I've been to Cedar Point in over 35 years, though. Yeah. roller coaster capital of the world for people who aren't familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Show and tell. Who cares about roller coasters? We've got funny books to show you people. Richard, I can start off this week. I have a group of books. Brace yourselves, strap yourselves in, get the seatbelts on, wake the kids. I'm going to say something positive, not only about modern comics, but about Marvel in particular, modern Marvels.
Wow.
What's happening? I bought new comic books last week. You know, I love Thunderbolts. So I had to get the new Thunderbolts, number one.
Mm-hmm.
I like the new team. I like the concept. I like that Marvel went back to using cover stock for the covers.
That is awesome.
It's thicker pound. It is glossy again. The interior pages are a thinner material. But look, it's cover stock again, Richard. I haven't tried to press one yet. I wonder what you will have to tweak the pressing.
It'll be easier.
Yeah, here it is. It looks like a comic book again instead of a cheap pamphlet. I almost said something.
But there's a downside to that, though, right?
$4.99 cover price.
$4.99.
And yeah. So you've got Thunderbolts number one. And then when I was there, because I knew Thunderbolts was coming out, I wanted to get Thunderbolts and I wanted to get the new Howard the Duck 50th anniversary one shot. Problem with this, everyone sold out of cover A, which is what I wanted. So I ended up with a friggin' Scotty Young cover. Not a fan. Apologies for you Scotty Young fans. I got it to read it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this was $4.99 as well. But while I was there, I saw this. A new Captain America number one.
Really? Okay.
They got me. It's nice cover stock.
Mm-hmm.
There's Cap. I hate the new logo. The reason why I hate the logo, can you tell me? Do you hate it like me?
It looks very generic for one thing.
This is supposed to be the captain insignia for an officer in the army. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like it says Captain America 2.
Kind of does, yeah.
You know, it looks like it's a sequel to something that it's not. $4.99 for that sucker. And I thought, okay, well, I'm hearing that, you know, they're just doing $4.99 for issue ones. Mm-hmm. That's the price point. No, issue 2, $4.99.
$4.99. Wow. That's a 5 spot for a comic book.
Richard, look at this cover though. Who's on the cover?
Spidey.
And
Cap.
Steve Rogers and Peter Parker. And they're wearing their real costumes.
That should not be an aberration.
It's not armor.
Yeah.
Not redesign. It's not. I saw this cover and I was like,
yeah.
Are you guys getting me again? Am I in?
They're not fighting some cosmic being. They're, you know, it's like the streets of New York.
It's Straczynski as the writer. Haven't read it yet. It's a name I recognize. The covers intrigued me. I will read them this week. I will probably let the members know on the live stream Friday how I feel. But I bought new comic books and I have positive things to say so far.
That's good. Me personally, I haven't bought a new comic book in months.
Mm-hmm.
I was just turned off. That, like, you know, the paper quality was horrible. DC's paper quality is better than Marvel's. It has been traditionally. I'm glad to see Marvel's, taking it up a notch. I don't know if I want to pay $5 though for.
It was tough. I got the Thunderbolts, the 2 issues of Cap,
mm-hmm.
the Howard the Duck, 4 books,
mm-hmm.
and I walked away with about $25 lesser. That's with my LCS discount and sales tax. So but I gotta support my Thunderbolts. I love me some Thunderbolts.
Does that mean that the days of, pull boxes and, just anything that's SpiderMan thrown in my box, are those days over with now?
I don't do that anymore. I specifically order. I do have a standing pull box somewhere where it's anything Captain America they'll throw in for me, and so I go pick it up every 3 months or so, and it's like because of all the series. Here's the Sam Wilson one. Here's the Steve Rogers one. Here's the miniseries. they've known me long enough, almost 20 years now, where I can put stuff back on the shelf. They don't get too upset if I'm not interested. But yeah, those days. In fact, if you don't have a pull box, I would suggest getting one because the orders have been slashed so much.
Mm.
These guys can't afford to keep extra copies on the shelves. The Howard the Duck sold out. I had to go with a variant cover just to read it. So if you are interested in all, like if you want Miles, the monthly Miles title, which people say is actually a real Spider-Man title. He's in high school. He has to deal with, financial problems. I mean, that's Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's Spider-Man stuff.
So you might want to get a pull box going.
Yeah, we know what I do is I buy from Things from Another World, tfaw.com, because you can order books in advance. It's an easy service to order from. Their shipping is pretty consistent, and you, you can put up certain rules as to what books you get, and I like that. And so I'll order from there. I haven't really ordered from a local comic book shop recently because of the issue of when I wanted a book, it wasn't available, or the cover I wanted wasn't available. And that's just unacceptable.
I don't want to call out the shop close to you. And by the way, it is not Eric at Comics Argo, who we
No.
love in Northeast Ohio. It's not him. There's another shop where this guy, he's constantly posting on the shop's Instagram account. Today, I'm not going to be in the store. Sorry. Today, I've got, a bowel issue. I'm leaving at 1:30. Come get your books. Now, you got to have a professionalism in some way. I can see why you don't want to go to LC.
Yeah, I wish Eric was closer. If he was, then he'd be my shop, and it'd be a different story.
Oh, I wish he was here in California. What's your first show and tell?
My first book is a book that I always buy whenever I see V for Vendetta. This is issue number 1. This is a 12-issue series. For those who haven't seen the V for Vendetta movie that's out, you should have seen it by now. It's a great movie. I would recommend, I don't often do this, I would recommend that you watch the movie before you read the comic, because this is Alan Moore's Opus. It's a great story, but it's dense, and it's involved. And if you want to get a 50,000-foot view of the story, watch the movie. The movie's great. It's got Natalie Portman in it, and just a lot of other characters or actors and actresses. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but it's a good movie, and it's it's in my rotation. I watch it every year.
I love that book. There was a long time for that to finish, right? Was that another that got delayed? Yeah.
Well, it's Alan Moore. He's notorious. This is September of 1988, so old book.
That always sells well, though. I had a stack of them that I ran across in a collection, and I put them in live sales, and I'm out of them now. But I think that never stays on the rack very long when you put it on.
This is a high grade. I'd say it's probably a 9.4. Not that I'm ever planning on slabbing. This is one of those books I love to read, so it'll probably stay raw.
I showed off the original of this the other week, Journey into Mystery 89, but this is the Thor 700 variant cover that has the Thor figure from Journey into Mystery 89. And it's without the blue city background, and it's got the new Thor logo as opposed to Journey into Mystery. And, I love it. I think it's great. This is something I might get slabbed in the future. I already have my Jim 89 already slabbed. Put them both on the wall side by side someday when I retire.
You don't have an 83?
I don't have an 83. No. Why, you got one?
No, it's always been one of those books I'd like to have. Just like Hulk #1. I'd like to have it, but I could never find it at a price I'm willing to pay.
No, it's stratospheric now. There's just no way. Although we're in the dip. If you're going to do it, this would be the time, but I'm saving money. I'm preparing for the apocalypse.
Yeah, well, we did Heritage Auction this past week.
We'll talk about that in a second. After show and tell, what else you got?
Next, I have this is a book that you got me. This is a La Mole Amazing Spider-Man 300. This is a foil. I absolutely love that. A lot of foils I'm not a fan of, but this is done so well. It is absolutely gorgeous. Crisp and clean. It's an easy 9.8 if I ever decide to get it slabbed. But you can see there it says Mexico down there at the bottom. But Yeah, this is a great book. Even if it has the original price, some of the facsimiles, they changed the price, but no, this still has the original price on it. So great book.
That came in a multi-pack of Venom-related titles from Marvel Clásicos in Mexico, and it included that, I believe, Venom Lethal Protector #1 as a foil cover, which already was a foil cover, so it's like double foil. And I think ASM 314, the first Venom cover, I think that's what came in that multi-pack. And those multi-packs, man, a couple of years ago, we were down there, I think pre-pandemic, and they were everywhere. So I just grabbed as many as I could, and now they're tough to find.
Mhm. Yeah, it's a great book. I love it. I don't have an ASM 300 currently in my collection. I had a 9.8 at one point, but I traded that off. So this is my placeholder.
Very nice. Wouldn't be a show and tell without a Western, a Marvel Western. This week, we're going to look at, I think this is the last new issue of the Outlaw Kid, Outlaw Kid 15. And it's the madman of Monster Mountain. He is giving a bear hug. This is one of those, Tom Brevoort, Marvel editor, has a nice blog, and he shows cover concepts that are very similar, and he groups them all together. He has one from last week on his blog called the I'm Done For concept. And this is one of them where, the hero's in trouble, and they always say, I'm done for. Death by bear hug. Great Gil Kane cover. Just gorgeous.
It's better, a bear hug or a twink hug?
Bear hug for sure, please. Break a twink in half. Yeah, well, here's the thing. He's got both guns in his hands. Why not just shoot the guy?
Well, he dropped one of them, didn't he?
Well, he's dropped both of them, but they were in his hands before the guy grabbed him.
Yeah, the guy had to get close enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I think there's a secret desire. So what's your next show and tell book?
I got one more. This is Marvel Point One. They have like 4 different books called Marvel Point One, and they're all one shots, and the naming is crazy. This is the first appearance of, get him right there, Nova, the new Nova. So if you're looking to collect Nova, which I am, and because I think we're going to see Nova at some point, this is his first appearance. So you need to track one of these books down. This is one of those books that whenever I see it, I try to pick it up. It was pricey for a little bit, but now the price has dropped significantly, I think, because of just malaise. So it's a good opportunity to pick up the first appearance.
Nice. That book has seen better days, but I don't know. It wasn't Sam Alexander and rumored along with Richard Rider. They were both going to be in the Nova movie. Rumors. Who cares? Who knows?
Until it's on the screen, I'm not going to believe it.
One thing I could not believe was the Heritage auction that you and I sat together and witnessed live. And we both, after such hypocrites, I'll say it, we're hypocrites. We did a whole episode about a year ago, about auctions and fees and how we're never going to buy from Heritage auctions again, blah, blah, blah. And what did you and I both do?
We both bought books at Heritage auction.
The prices were insanely low. I mean, very, very low. I'm not going to reveal what I bought yet because I want to save it for show and tell. Richard, you should do the same.
Right.
I'm happy to talk about the pricing and what we ended up with in terms of pricing. First of all, everything went for way below GPA. Okay. I mean, way below. When I get these in and I go through them with you guys, you'll see what I mean. It was too tempting. There were books I did not win that I wish I was more aggressive on. Venus #1 6.0, I think sold for $620 before the buyer's premium. Just insane stuff. One of the books I got was a Marvel Silver Age book, 8.5, $30 for the slab. The buyer's premium was $29.
Yeah.
So everything I bought, it was a total of 6 books, $544. The buyer's premium added to that was $189. Then service and handling, $31.73. Then sales tax, California, 10.5%, $78.38. So my $544 purchase became an $843.11 purchase. Insane. Everything went for under GPA, but by the time everything got added up, I might as well have paid GPA.
Right. And that was what was kind of misleading in the auction. You saw these great prices, and you didn't take into, and they do a good job of calling it out, saying, yeah, that book is $300, but it's $360 with the buyer's premium.
They show you.
They show you. So it's not like they're trying to trick you or anything like that. But you're in the heat of the bid, and the book is going, you're not looking at that number. You're looking at the number the book is showing up as being bid on. And so that's what you do. I ended up buying 5 books. My total came to $1,500. $35 service fee, tax of $123. You can't get away from that. And then processing fee. So I ended up paying $1,700 total. Which, it's more than I had gone into it not expecting to buy anything. We were just kind of just watching. It was fun. It was you in California. Our friend Forrest was out of town in DC, and I'm sitting here in Ohio, and we were just watching the auction go, and there were some really, 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 really good deals that were just, you just couldn't you couldn't not bid on those, when something's going for so low. Just as an example, Heritage lists Overstreet prices as their price guide. They use Overstreet. So they were showing what the book was going to be for Overstreet. And normally Overstreet prices are very, very much lower than what you would see on, GPA. If you look at eBay sales, the Overstreet prices are typically much lower. They were almost on the money for this auction. You were seeing books go for Overstreet prices, which
before BP.
Before BP, yeah. And that alone was a shock to actually see those prices to be that low. So I have to, in my defense, in spending all that money, got some good deals, even with the buyer's premium.
Yeah, it stings to see. And well, maybe I'll feel better when the books arrive and I see them and I'm opening them and I go, okay, all right. But right now I'm just like, I'm a hypocrite.
Yeah, but that's how these auction houses work. I mean, if you're a car guy, you watch Barrett Jackson, who sells cars out of Arizona, do the same thing. They make money off the buyer and they make money off the seller, and that's how the business works.
Did you pay with a credit card?
Yeah, I did.
2.5% surcharge for paying with a credit card.
I wanted the points, so I paid with a credit card and then paid it off. So.
Me too. But yeah, I mean, there's another beep right there. Say what you want about eBay fees and eBay charges. You don't get a credit card processing fee.
Yeah.
I guess technically you get the PayPal fee. So is it the same thing?
It probably works out to be a wash,
Tell us what you guys think. Are we suckers? Are we getting deals? Did you have any experience with Heritage? One thing that we talked about was maybe the next time Heritage is live, since we're sitting in front of the computers anyway, doing a live stream and taking a page, full credit for Swaggle House for doing this first on his channel. I love it. I think it's great. And I don't want to rip him off without giving him proper credit, unlike some channels do. But yeah, there's that. Tell us what you think, and maybe we'll read your comment on a segment we like to call Viewer Mail.
You've got mail.
Speaking of ripping off concepts from David Letterman. My first piece of viewer mail comes to us from our email at bronzeandmoderngods@gmail.com from Kevin Colvin. Kevin writes a whole bunch of stuff, giving us lots of praise. I cut that out. Our heads are big enough. We don't need it. Guys, I was wondering your opinion on why giant-sized X-Men is considered the grail of the new X-Men. and not X-Men number 94. I realized Giant Size X-Men number 1 is their first appearance. When I started collecting comics in the early 80s, X-Men 94 always seemed to be the more desired of the two. Not everyone collected giant size editions. Recent Comic Link auctions seem to indicate this fact, as X-Men 94 and CGC 9.8 is fetching around double what Giant Size X-Men number 1 is getting for the same grade. I realized that there are only 39 X-Men 94s in CGC 9.8 versus 235 Giant Size X-Men number 1s in 9.8. But isn't that the point? Scarcity and demand would seem to indicate number 94 in 9.8 is the one you would want if given the choice between the two. Or am I missing something? Love the show, Kevin. Thank you, Kevin. Kevin, you are right. When we were coming up, 94 was the book. You had to have a 94. No one cared. Well, people cared about Giant Size X-Men number 1. But it was always 94 was the more expensive of the two. You go back and you look at those old Mile High Comics center spread ads, and you'll see 94 was priced higher. I think you said it. It's a tougher cover in 9.8 than Giant Size X-Men number 1 because of that dark green, that emerald background. And you'll see right here, and this is just recent examples. This is not a scientific deep dive, but 98 sold at that Comic Link auction for $52,000. Sorry, number 94 sold for $52,000 in a 9.8, and 2 copies of Giant Size X-Men number 1 and 9.8 sold for $24,600 and $24,350 respectively. All of them had white pages, so take that equation out. But I kind of agree. 94 is scarcer, 94 is tougher. What do you think?
I think 94 is possibly the ugliest comic book cover I have ever seen. I honestly do. I think it's a horrendous, hard to decipher kind of cover. It is a factor. I think Giant Size X-Men's cover is a better looking cover. As far as their first appearance, the Giant Size, I would go with 94 as being their first appearance. But they also appeared first in Foom 10. If you want to go, you want to be, very specific about it. It depends on when you look at first appearance. The first appearance of the series, the first appearance of comics, the first appearance in general. I like 94. I do. I have a Giant Size X-Men number 1 as well, but I have a couple 94s because I do value it greater than the Giant Size, to be completely honest.
I am going to counter. I know Giant Size X-Men number 1 has an iconic cover image. The logo is horrible. See how they had to change that X-Men logo to make it fit?
Yeah.
Yeah, whereas 94 has that iconic, all new, all different. That was exciting to see when you were a kid. It's like, oh, X-Men's a reprint title. Wait, it's new? There's different people. I like the color scheme on 94. I can see that Gil Kane look up the nose angle on Count Nefaria.
God, it's so horrible.
Yeah, that's a Gil Kaneism. But Gil Kane did both covers, along with Dave Cockrum. So, if you look at Giant Size X-Men number 1, by the way, complete aside, that image of the new X-Men bursting through is absolutely Gil Kane. And you notice the old X-Men behind him is completely drawn by Dave Cockrum. There's no Gil Kane in that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so a mashup of a cover there. But good email, Kevin. What do you guys think? GSX1 versus 94. Sound off. What's your next piece of viewer mail?
My next piece is from our Bronze and Modern Gods email account from Ahmed. Hey, just wanted to share something I found just because Richard showed on one of the old videos. I forgot which one. I found a Miracle Man UK print with the yellow sailback for just £20. I guess the seller didn't know much about it and wanted to get rid of his books as soon as possible. I really enjoyed reading Miracle Man after finding out about it through a YouTube video, and it really got me into comics in general last year. I am 33 and would consider myself quite new to comics, and your videos have given me so much knowledge on the hobby. So I would like to thank you for that, and much appreciate all the content you provide.
Aw.
Yeah, thank you, Ahmed. I appreciate it. And yeah, good pickup on that UK variant. It's I see some showing up on eBay, but they want $300 for them, and I'm just not willing to pay that. So I'll patient. I'm patient. I don't have to get it immediately. At some point, I'll find a copy that is in the price that I want to pay. But congrats on it, and I'm glad that you find our content valuable, and we will continue to make or attempt to make it valuable. I'm not sure how successful we are some days, but yeah, thanks again for your comment.
I am actually going to be in the UK in January next month.
Oh,
So I'm going to go do a little comic book shopping. I'll look for one for you, Richard. And when I find it, I'm going to buy it and I'm going to wave it in front of you and
yes, you will. I know you will.
charge you double. My next piece of your mail comes to us from our email at bronzeandmoderngods@gmail.com from Jake Garris. Jake, again, said some very complimentary things that we'll edit, get to the point. Thank you, though, Jake. I don't, as a habit, buy Golden Age comic books, but a few weeks ago, I took the family to a comic book yard sale in which the seller was offering a great deal of fill a short box for $20. I took the opportunity to snag some old gold key books
Oh.
after hearing you mention them on your show. I'm as big a Looney Tunes fan as the next person, but what really caught my eye was a stack of Turok, Son of Stone comics. I love the cover art, and at around 7 cents each, I couldn't pass them up. Oh, it made me realize that even back in the 50s and 60s, comic book companies were looking for ways to cut corners and gouge the customers. As I'm sure you're aware, the differences in size and the amount of paper used in 12-cent books compared to a 15-cent book is substantial. From the golden age to the present, the size of comic books has decreased inversely proportionate to the cost. It only now occurs to me with my new small stack of golden age books that they've been sticking it to us customers since the start. In the end, it doesn't matter because as long as comic books continue to entertain, showcasing terrific art and stories, I'll keep dropping good coin for them. Thank you for the excellent show and keep collecting as long as it's fun. Respectfully, Jake. Thank you, Jake.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's why I was so shocked to see the new Marvel books
Mhm.
showing up with better cover stock and looking better. The Golden Age books used to be almost magazine size. Sometimes they're so big, CGC has to use a magazine well to put them in. And then they got smaller. Page counts went from 68 pages down to 52, counting the covers. And they went down to 32. They're hanging in there for 32 for a few decades, but I keep, waiting for them to drop the other shoe. Hasn't happened, but I was shocked. Jake, I hear what you're saying, but Marvel did something inversely to your theory this week.
We'll see if it's something that sticks. I think it may be an experiment. I would love to find someone who's selling Golden Age books for $20 a short box.
Jake, let us know where you're at.
Yeah, that's
We just want
awesome.
to say hi. We're not going to, move in on your honey hole. Maybe. What do you got?
My next piece is from YouTube's Wrong Number.
Diane. Diane, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Guys, don't sleep on the insurance. My husband and I have had it for a couple years. The realization hit us one day that a person could walk out our door with tens of thousands of dollars by grabbing a few books off the wall. Oh man, that just makes me wince because it's true. Not to mention the fear of a fire or some other disaster. It's well worth it for peace of mind. One tip to reduce costs is to get a safe deposit box for your big key books. Insurance companies will give you a break for that.
Oh,
That's a good tip. I didn't realize that having a safety deposit box for books would do that. I am kind of reluctant. I understand the benefit of it, but one of the reasons I like to collect books is so I can look at them,
mhm.
even if it's only infrequently. I like to look at them. If they're in a safety deposit box, that makes that much more difficult. So it's a balance. Do you consider them collectibles solely, and therefore the 50 pockets of box makes sense? Or, are you a comic book nerd and you like to look at your comics? It's a toss up.
It is. I just want to put a little addendum onto this whole talk about comic book insurance and theft. Um, I was an expert marksman in the Army, and I can kill a man at 400 feet.
Was that just a point of interest, or?
Oh, just, in case anybody's thinking of breaking in here.
Oh, I see. It's a deterrent. Okay.
I'm just saying,
Yeah, and John's my best friend, so if you come at my house, I'm going to call him.
Yeah, I'm insured now. Yay. That last piece of viewer mail from me is from our email at bronzeandmoderngods@gmail.com from Ryan Henley, who writes, somewhat of a new fan of your channel. I've spent the last week digging into the older episodes. This morning, I was listening to one related to bagging and boarding, and I wanted to ask a couple of questions. Number one, I'm in the process of switching to Mylar. I started with just key books in silver and gold, but now I think I'll do them all. If you order in bulk from Gerber, the cost is really not bad. Have you changed your opinion that only key books should get the Mylar treatment? I know when I'm 80, I really want to impress people with the quality of my Defiant collection. But seriously, don't we wish people have handled their gold key and Charlton books with a little more care? Ryan, let me hit your first question. I have switched mostly to Mylar. It's a cost issue.
Mm-hmm.
It is expensive. You buy in bulk, it comes down a bit. But now that I'm a little more flush, I'm a little older, debt free. Thank you, Susie Orman. Oh wait, she's not dead. Thank you, Susie Orman, wherever you are. I do find myself bagging everything in Mylars in halfbacks. I don't use fullbacks for everything. I use halfbacks because you start using fullbacks for your roach milk collection,
it gets expensive. Yeah.
Well, they take up more space.
Right.
You fit less books in a box. And, I'm sure, Ryan, your Defiant collection, don't go fullbacks on the Defiants. Go halfbacks. You'll be fine. Richard, how about you?
Yeah, let me ask you a question. You're supposed to replace bag and boards after X number of years, 5, 6, 7 years. You're supposed to rebag because the comics gas and will damage the bags. Is that the same with Mylar? Do you need to rebag with Mylar after a period of time?
This is not scientific, and I'm not reading anything. I don't think I have. I mean, I've got books I've had in Mylars for 20 plus years that look great, as opposed to books in polyethylene and polypropylene that look horrible. The bag's yellow. There's transfer on the backing board on the back, but I haven't noticed that with Mylars and halfbacks. Maybe because my house is filled with argon gas. Ryan also said, don't we wish people handle their gold key and Charlton books a little more care? Amen. I wish, Ryan, they had Dells as well. Although there are a lot of Dell file copies out there.
You've noticed that too. I wonder what happened to.
Well, they went out of business and they raided, they didn't destroy them. Collectors, like our buddy Chuck Rosansky and people like that got those file copies from Western direct. So they're out there. Yeah. And, it wasn't like one copy. It'd be like stacks of, Santa Claus funnies. What is your last piece of viewer mail?
Okay. My last piece of viewer mail is from Adam Adrian 3487. One thing CBCS and CGC could and should take from EGS is the UV protected slabs. This is where I talk about EGS last show. Yeah, I didn't realize I went to their website just to verify, and yes, they say that their slabs are 99% UV resistant. So,
wow, bit of a game changer.
That's really, really important, because one of the things that people are concerned about slabs, or in comics in general, when they're exposed to sunlight, is fading from the UV rays. So the fact that these slabs are UV protected, I think is something that should be called out bigger as a differentiator for EGS.
Wow, I didn't know that. Has anybody tested it? Like, left a book out in the sun for 3 days.
Yeah, well, that's not a bad idea. Take 3 copies of a book that you just don't care about. And
Ryan's Defiant collection.
And send them, one of each to CGC, CBCS, and EGS, and put them out in the sun for a month and see which ones faded the most. That would be an interesting experiment.
I would say go all the way. Lay them out in the sun for 25 years. Huh?
Good, good.
I don't know.
It worked. It worked.
One thing, 4 years of doing this show, 4 years of coming back from the 25-year-old transition. What's the first thing I do every time? Is I adjust myself in my chair. Because I lean back and I have to readjust. Hey, 25-year-old this week, we are talking about Lost in Space #1. No, not Space Family Robinson, Lost in Space.
Mm-hmm.
Not Innovation Comics Lost in Space. This would be Dark Horse Comics Lost in Space. The first issue, based on the 1998 movie starring everyone's favorite friend, Matt LeBlanc. Yes, Joey Tribbiani is in Lost in Space. Look at this cover, Richard. Look at how they desecrated our favorite robot.
Yeah, the movie did that, though.
I'm just looking at it. Sorry, people on the podcast. We're just looking at this cover.
Yeah, you've got what looks like is that supposed to be Matt LeBlanc's character?
Yeah, they probably did not get likeness rights. I'm sure they did.
Yeah, I think that's it. And then you've got Will Robinson, I'm assuming that is, and is that his sister behind him?
I think it's supposed to be Maureen Robinson.
Okay. And then in the background, you've got the robot.
Where is Dr. Smith on
yes.
this?
Where is Dr. Smith? Well, this movie was horrible.
Did you like it more or less than the Netflix reboot?
I haven't seen the next Netflix reboot.
Parker Posey as Dr. Smith is genius casting. I never watched it, but just hearing Parker Posey as Dr. Smith, I was like, I think I might have to watch this, but I never did.
No, this movie, it's a hard pass. If somebody wants to make you watch it, say no.
For this book, prices on eBay range all over the place. One described as a near mint high grade copy sold recently for $12.99, while a near mint described set of the entire 3-issue miniseries sold for $2. So it's either less than $1 or $13. You decide.
Yeah, this is one of those books of the 80s or the 90s that I think we can just put to bed.
I mean, look at it. Oof. I don't know. You know what I did watch, by the way, because I think that this audience would appreciate it. I watched the new Doctor Who with the return of David Tennant and Catherine Tate.
How was it?
I watched both episodes so far. If you gave up like I did, come back. Richard, come back.
Really?
Russell Davies threw everything at fans that they wanted. He's like, I don't want to spoil it for you. I can't tell you. I want you to watch it so we can talk about it.
Okay.
You want this? Here you go. You want this back? Here it is. You want the logo from the 70s, the Tom Baker era? Fine. Here, take it. It's like he came to us hat in hand saying, please forgive me.
Good. I'm glad to see fan service. That's the people who watch the show. Don't write it for yourself. Write it for the fans.
He didn't throw out the baby with the bathwater. There's references to the Chibnall era. There's references to Jodie Whittaker's era. So it's everything that you wanted it to be again. It handed to you on a silver platter. If you guys gave up on Doctor Who, give it a shot. It's on Disney Plus. You got to pony up a little bit for it, unless you're in the UK. It's on BBC there.
Yeah, I've got Disney Plus. I'm a Star Wars guy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm telling you, I was shocked at how good it was. I was shocked. The budget, they got Disney money now.
You sold me. I'm gonna watch it because like you say, I had given up on Doctor Who, and which is sad because I really enjoyed this from the Matt Baker days on. I have enjoyed it. So
Tom Baker.
I'm sorry, Tom Baker. I'm thinking of
You're the Matt Smith with Tom Baker?
Yeah.
Baker. Oh my God. Russell Davies, you steal this idea.
Wrong Baker. Yeah.
Wow, crazy. So give it a shot, a little non-comic related. Although I will tell you this, the first episode of the reboot, or whatever you want to call it, the new series, based on the Doctor Who monthly comic book by Alan Grant and Dave Gibbons. So if you read Doctor Who monthly in the 80s or the US direct sales reprints, you're going to recognize the first story and the first adversary. It's going to kind of ruin it for you because it's a bit of a spoiler, but
Okay,
it's still worth watching.
looking forward to it.
And I would say it is one of those underrated books of the week. Richard, Amazing Fantasy 15 underrated?
Yeah, well, yeah, I think so. Amazing Fantasy 15. This is the facsimile edition. You can tell it's
Oh,
facsimile because of the barcode right here. This is from 2019, late 2018, depending on who you ask. This came out um, early on the whole facsimile run. You know, DC's done facsimile with their dollar books before. Marvel's started doing facsimiles. This one, it's got the $3.99 price on it, which is the major differentiator here on the cover. And besides the barcode and the Marvel logo here in the bottom.
the poor crook, his eyes getting poked out with the barcode.
Well, the thing is, this is a $4 book, right? It's a facsimile. It's a reprint, but the prices on this thing have been surprising. They're this last month in November, a 9.8 sold for $300.
What?
$300 for the facsimile. And there are listings up there now for over $400-500 for this facsimile. I don't understand 100% why. It's not that old of a book. It's not. I don't know the rarity of the book. I don't know what the print run of this is.
Wow.
But I'm looking at eBay sold prices for raws from $40 to $50, which normally these facsimile books, they go for maybe twice cover price. So around $10. We've got Fantastic Four #1. It's 9.8, peaked at about $180.
Mm.
The ASM1 facsimile you can get raw for $10. So it's why the high value? Is it maybe because Amazing Fantasy 15, the real book is so stratospherically expensive that even 1.0s are 20 grand. So most humans are not going to be able to afford it. So this is going to be the closest thing that you're going to come to it. But I don't have a strong reason why this is popular. Keep an eye out for it though, because if you look at dollar bins, you may find these in the dollar bins because people who don't follow eBay and look at the pricing, what goes on sales, it's just a straight up facsimile. It's a reprint book.
Wow. Okay. I have to go look and see if I have a few. My underrated book is Uncanny X-Men 394.
Okay.
Recognize this cover? This is a should be a classic cover. Wolverine, Mackinon, Jean Grey.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like J. Scott Campbell. It is Ian Churchill.
Yeah. He has. It's a man for one thing. So it's not J. Scott Campbell's strong point.
The anatomy is all over the place on this cover. I won't even get into it. But while all the attention was justly on Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely's relaunch of New X-Men with issue 114, just 1 month before that, in 2001, Uncanny X-Men got a little reboot with the new team of Joe Casey and Ian Churchill. Along with new costumes, more in line with the original movie, along came a new direction. Joe Casey's run was interesting. He added some new team members, including the mutant hooker, Stacy X. Yeah.
Mutant hooker?
She was.
What was her power? I'm just curious.
There was some sort of pheromone related thing, I'm sure. It wasn't quite the train wreck that came later in this title when Chuck Austin took over. Oh, my Lord. I was surprised. I came across this in a box and I thought, I'll look this up. Raws go for only $7, as low as $3.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's sort of a classic cover. There is also a newsstand version of this book out there that would hold a premium, but not much. So Uncanny X-Men 394. If you see it, grab it.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. I have not seen that cover before, to be honest.
All right, that is another one in the can. That's what she said. And we will catch you next time. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Bronze and Modern Gods. Hit like, hit subscribe. We will see members on Wednesday and Friday. We'll see everybody else on Monday.
Awesome. Everybody stay safe.